Yo, yo, welcome to another weekly edition of the Best Way to Smoke News with Serpo Jr.
And Big J.
And jumping right on into it. Look, out an article out of Health Day by Amy Norton. Medical marijuana for pain is linked to a slight rise in heart trouble. People who use medical marijuana to treat chronic pain may have a slightly heightened risk of heart arrhythmias, which is irregular heartbeats. A preliminary study suggests. Researchers found that among 1.6 million people with chronic pain, those prescribed medical marijuana were 64% more likely to suffer a heart rhythm disturbance in the next 6 months. The absolute risk was small. About 0.9% of patients of medical marijuana developed an arrhythmia or irregular heartbeat, compared to 0.5 of those not taking the drug. And remember, plus experts said the findings do not prove that medical marijuana per se is to blame. So, and it's like my opinion of it is if you have like a chronic illness of any sort, and it's like you taking any type of medication, maybe if you do mix that with medical cannabis, it may cause like some irregularities.
Right.
So it's like, just as they say in the article, it's not completely linked to marijuana.
Right. So yeah, you got to just definitely be aware of what you taking and seeing what the side effects are.
Mm-hmm.
If you do use it with marijuana, if it's going to be something that's going to happen,
Yeah, that's
that
true.
possibly could happen from you. So moving on, we got an article from Cassandra Williard out of Nature. Psychedelic drugs take on depression. Mind-altering drugs might provide relief for those who don't respond to conventional therapies. But does the hype outweigh the hope? The antidepressant landscape hasn't changed much since the approval in the 1980s of fluoxetine, marketed most famously as Prozac. Most new drugs hit the same targets as the old ones, albeit with fewer side effects. For about 2/3 of people with depression, these conventional medications work. But for the remaining third, people such as Hendrix, they don't seem to have much of an impact. Even when they do work, people often need to take them for a week before they see any improvement. You have a scenario where someone's depressed and seeks treatment. They try one medication and it takes them a couple of months to know if it works. And then you switch to another medication and that's another couple of months. And before you know it, you're half a year down the road, says Todd Gold, a neuroscientist at the University of Maryland in Baltimore. Those who respond to ketamine feel relief quickly, sometimes within hours, he says. So basically, it's like it's basically saying certain medications that they put you on, this medication might not work.
Mm-hmm.
So then they put you on another one. You still got to take time to see if it worked. I personally done seen people experience that even with diabetic medication and certain different kind of medications and stuff though. But if you can take a psychedelic, something that's natural, like a shroom or some shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it can possibly help them symptoms that you feeling, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I can dig it. Me being like a person of originality, like researchers and whatever it may be, things that's coming like naturally from the earth or whatever it is, it's like, man, I suggest it. That's only just my personal opinion.
Right.
And then again, it's an old saying, different strokes for different folks.
Most definitely.
And moving right along with it, New York. Marijuana moment. By Kyle Jager. New York, marijuana officials are now accepting applications for the first recreational dispensary license. That's great news for my New Yorkers. People who have been directly impacted by the drug war in New York are now able to submit applications for the first round of retailer licenses in the state. New York regulators have been prompting at launch of the application portal for weeks, emphasizing that this presents a key step towards ensuring industry equity as the state prepares to open its adult use market by the year's end. And we all know New York done passed they done passed their laws and they getting ready to put these legal recreational dispensaries out there.
Yep. The trucks and all that.
Yes, indeed. And then earlier this week, the Office of Cannabis Management, OCM, unveiled a regional breakdown of the maximum 150 conditional adult use retail dispensaries license that it plans to accept as an initial step to setting New York up to serve adult use consumers.
Right.
Now, what that is right there is pretty much, even though you may have a New York ID or a New York driver license that say you're 21 and up, you're going to have to get an additional card for you to
Right,
go
for you to
inside
go.
these
Yep.
retail places to further like keep that stuff safe.
Yep.
So New York is moving forward.
Yep. Hey, look, keep on progressing, New York. Maybe y'all can be an example for some other states that's trying to get there. So moving right along, smoking weed is now more popular than smoking tobacco. An article by Harry Enting, CNN. Getting high reaches an all-time high. Every so often in polling, you get to witness a big changing of the guard moment. That happened a few weeks ago when Gallup released data on marijuana and tobacco uses in the United States. Two long-term trends finally collided. For the first time in Gallup polling, more Americans, 16%, said they smoked marijuana. They smoked marijuana than had smoked a tobacco cigarette, 11% in the past week. Marijuana and tobacco usage trends have been going in opposite directions for a few decades. Now, by 1985, nearly as many Americans said they had tried marijuana, 33% as had a cigarette in the past week, 35%. Cigarette smoking has been declining ever since. By 2013, just 19% of Americans were smoking cigarettes at least once a week. Meanwhile, 38% of Americans told Gallup they had tried marijuana that year. This was the same year that 7% said they currently smoke marijuana. The trend toward more marijuana smokers is perhaps not surprisingly driven by young people. The National Institution of Health reported last week that more young adults use marijuana in 2021 than in any year prior. So for me, it's like this. Marijuana is way better than smoking that tobacco. So keep smoking that marijuana.
Yeah. I mean, it's like coming up in my lifetime, I've tried, smoked tobacco products or whatever it is, but it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Right,
And even now with my marijuana usage, I don't even use tobacco products.
right,
Like I'm real big on hemp products. So it's like I kind of like this because a lot of people they becoming aware.
right.
Like tobacco products, we know it causes a hindrance within the health.
Yep.
Like we know the side effects and everything of it. And then it's like you look at marijuana, it's like, man, I don't gotta just get no head rush. I can just be blowed and be innovative. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Most definitely.
So I like that.
Yep.
Pushing along forward. We got a map that shows the average life expectancy of people within the United States. And this is in the Insider magazine, an article by Andrea Michelson. The CDC released an annual report comparing life expectancy at the state level. Hawaii once again had the highest life expectancy, while Mississippi had the lowest. The average life expectancy in the U.S. decreased from 78.8 years of age to 77 years of age. Not too big of a decrease, but a decrease all in all. Life expectancy has declined again in all 50 states and the District of Columbia, according to an annual report published by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. And it's like we see right here on the map, like as we go through it, like the life expectancy in each states. We seen Hawaii had the highest of what? They had 81 years of age or something like that. And it's like, in my opinion, it's probably due to diet, maybe.
Right.
You know,
I think that's a big part of it.
more fresh fruits, you know, fishes and things of such. To whereas you go down to Mississippi, you know, we be eating our, you know what I'm saying, our good stuff.
Right.
Pig feet and all of those, you know
That's
what I'm
not
saying?
good stuff.
Man.
but
But
but that's what it is though
but
out there.
it
Yeah.
been passed down through tradition or whatever
Right.
it may be.
Right.
And then if we jump over there to California, where I'm at, where we at, what's that? What's that life expectancy there? 79 years of age. And it's like they looking at this as is kind of like low.
Yeah.
But coming from some of the places where we come from, it's like 79, that's a peak age,
Man.
you know? But it's like if life expectancy is supposed to be beyond that,
Yep.
I mean, of course, we'd like to see it. You know, we see people in their 90s,
Yep.
some 100 birthdays
102. Yeah.
celebrated and things
That
of
should
such.
be for everybody, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all on how we take care of ourselves, and you know, some stuff is just hereditary anyway that you
Mhm.
gonna go through and things gonna happen though. So you know, we just making everybody aware of what it is though. Maybe this is something that'll make you flash into something that you need to do.
Yes, indeed. And that's the best way to smoke weekly news with Serpo Jr.
Big J.